If I planned the timing of this video correctly, it should be releasing on September 6th, which happens to be 3 days before my birthday. So what better way to celebrate than to play some Mario Party, the series where friendships are destroyed, controllers are broken, and the worst player in the room somehow manages to win. And no game is more chaotic and brutal than the original. This game does not hold back any punches. Like for example, in the new Mario Parties, if you lose a minigame, you just don't get any coins. Lose minigames in Mario Party 1 and you'll actually lose coins in most cases. It's like a skill issues tax. But there's also just so much nostalgic charm and life packed into the older games that the newer games just don't have. I always say that the older Mario parties from like the Nintendo 64 up until the Wii are like fun birthday parties, and the newer Switch Mario parties feel more like corporate office parties, with the sleek and minimalist UIs and the more streamlined gameplay. Not that I'm saying they're all bad, I still enjoy playing the new ones a lot, especially being able to play online with friends, but they just can't hold a candle to the classics. So in today's video, we're going to be 100% completing the original Mario Party for Nintendo 64, but that's not all. We'll also be collecting every achievement in the game using Retro Achievements, a third-party platform that adds achievement support to all of your favorite nostalgic games. There are a total of 56 achievements to collect, and to get them all, we'll have to go above and beyond 100% completion. There's achievements for all the side modes, getting high scores in minigames, winning with at least a 2-star lead against the hardest difficulty computers, and some miscellaneous challenges along the way. So this is going to be a very epic party. If you're new to the channel, my name's Nostalgic Juice. I'm on a quest to play all the classic nostalgic games from my childhood and get their retro achievements. And I'm uploading videos every single week, so if you enjoy classic nostalgic games, challenge runs, and 100% completion videos, then make sure you subscribe so you don't miss them. You can even consider it a little birthday present. With that said, let's get this party started. To kick things off, we're going to start with a classic board game, which is the first thing that you think of when you play Mario Party. Now that we're set to play, I'm going to quickly explain how it all works for the people who aren't familiar. Mario Party is a board game. The objective is to get the most stars by the end of the game. Players take turns rolling the dice and moving along the board, and something happens depending on where you land. Most common are the red and blue spaces, where you'll get or lose 3 coins. Then there's the happening spaces, which causes events to happen depending on what board you're playing on. The minigame space lets you play a 1-player minigame where you can win some coins. The mushroom space is a 50-50 chance that will either get you an extra roll or it'll skip your next turn. And then there's 2 more spaces that can really affect the game. The Bowser space makes you take a trip to Bowser, and that can lead to several things. Maybe a Bowser minigame where the loser suffers a penalty, or he might just steal coins and maybe even stars if you're really unlucky. And the last space that every Mario Party player dreads is chance time. If you land on this, you have to play a minigame that could potentially make or break the entire game. The game is simple. There's 3 dice, 2 of which are character dice who determine who's participating, and then the middle dice has effects that will cause players to either trade coins or even stars. There's even the possibility that both players will swap all of their stars or coins. If you have nothing to lose, this space can be amazing, but if you're in the lead, you do not want people landing on this. After each player has taken a turn, then everybody participates in a minigame. There are 50 minigames in total in the game. Most of them are going to be free-for-alls, but some of them are 2v2 team games, and some even have 1 player versus the other 3. Those are my favorite personally. I just love showing these computers who the boss is. Winning minigames gets you coins, and in some cases those coins come at the expense of the losing players, which makes this game so much more toxic, and honestly, I kinda love it for that. The coins are used to buy stars. If you pass Toad on the board, you can buy a star for 20 coins. Some of the boards also have a boost space, and if you pass him, you can use your coins to steal an opponent's star. Now the achievement hunting process in this game is going to be just a little bit different. That's due to the inherent randomness of the game. I'm not saying Mario Party is all randomness, but for example in this first game, there's this board minigame where we have to pick a seed, and it's a 1 in 4 chance of getting sent to Bowser's side of the board, which is not something we want to do. And I got sent here not once, not twice, but 3 times in a row. Oh my god, do I ever get to play the game? This is the 3rd time I've gone to see Bowser! So that means we really can't plan out when to go for some of these achievements. We might be screwed by the bad luck, so we have to be adaptable. Sometimes we have to work with the computers in cooperative minigames, and we can just get screwed by their really stupid AI, like in this game where the goal is to work together to get the key to the door.
Yoshi, the door's over here! Oh my god, why would he throw it into the corner? Yoshi, you suck!
And like I said earlier, this game is brutally punishing. We didn't just not get coins for failing that minigame, we all lost coins. And that's the case for a lot of the minigames. Newer Mario parties aren't really this punishing, you only lose coins in Bowser games. But in the OG, if you're not a real gamer, you get punished. So mastering the minigames will be very important for this challenge. Because I kept getting sent to Bowser this game, I didn't get my first star until the very last turn. Peach already had 2, but we still have a shot to win because at the end of the game we get bonus stars. There are 3 categories for bonus stars. The minigame star, which is awarded to the player who got the most coins in all the minigames, the coin star, which is the player who held the most coins at any point in time, and then the happening star, which is awarded to the player who landed on the most happening spaces. Unlike the newer Mario parties where there's multiple categories that are chosen at random, the first game only has these 3, so we can try to work towards them throughout the game. With the bonus stars we won in this game, that was enough for us to get our first win, and we picked up 2 achievements, one for finishing a game on the Peach birthday cake board, and we get another one for getting the minigame bonus star with at least 150 coins. At the end of each game, all of our stars and coins get deposited into a bank, and we can spend these coins at the shop. You can buy items here, which is a very different system than the other Mario Party games where there's item shops on the actual board while you're playing, but I'll talk about that more when we buy an item. You might be thinking the best thing to buy at first is this item here that gives you an interest on all the coins earned, but you'd be wrong. The optimal, best item to buy first is the talking parrot. Not just for the achievement, but just look at him. We can also buy the mini games that we played during the board games, and then we can play them freely. And one of our achievements is for buying every single one, so that'll be something that we work towards throughout the game. Inside the minigame shop, there's also this side mode called Minigame Stadium. It's like a bite-sized board where the only spaces are red and blues, and there are no stars to buy. The goal is to simply have the most coins by the end of it. A more minimalist experience for the on-the-go Mario Party player who doesn't have time to sit down for a regular board game. There's no achievements tied to this mode, but we do get to keep the coins we earn, so this might be a good coin farming method, but it's still too early to tell. But we're gonna have to farm coins eventually. As I said, we have to buy all the minigames for an achievement, as well as each item in the shop is also its own separate achievement. There is a single player mode that we do have achievements for, however, Minigame Island. This is a really interesting mode. There's 9 worlds and we get 3 lives to start. Each minigame is its own level, and we not only have to win the minigame to progress, but in most cases we have a target score that we have to reach in order to pass. If we pass the level, we get an extra life and can proceed to the next one. If we fail, we lose a life, and if we lose all of our lives, it's game over. So kind of like a Mario Party roguelite type thing. And we have 9 achievements in this mode to collect as we progress through each world. This mode sounds a lot harder than it is, but I found that extra lives are handed out pretty often, and there's branching paths, so if you run into a minigame that's too difficult and is eating up all of your lives, you can just backtrack and go a different way. Eventually, you'll have to get your skill issues fixed, but you can put it off for a while you practice. And since you can replay minigames for coins, and every 100 coins get you another extra life, once you find the minigame that you can win every time, it's pretty much impossible to lose unless you're careless. There's also several achievements tied to the minigames themselves, and you can go for them in this mode as well, but it might not always be the smartest thing to do. For example, in Paddle Battle, the goal is to rotate the control stick faster than the other side and push them against the wall so they lose coins. But there's an achievement for getting through this game with nobody losing coins, and I decided to go for it, but I forgot that we have to get at least 15 coins to progress.
And there it is. Paddle Pacifist. Got the achievement. Oh, but that counts as a miss though! Whoops!
One more thing that I love about this mode is for all of the 1v3 minigames, you are the solo player, and I love the 1v3 games where I get to be the solo player. And it just doesn't happen enough during the board play, so I had a lot of fun in this mode. But I didn't want to grind it all out in one sitting, so I made it to World 2, getting us 2 progression achievements along the way, and it was time to get back to the main event. The next board I decided to try was Wario's Battle Canyon. I picked Yoshi because I was thinking it'd be cute to use different characters throughout the video, but as I was editing this part of the video, I realized that it might make it hard to tell which character I'm playing as, so I apologize for that. I did already record the next few boards before I realized this, but I'll say which character I'm using on each of them. We're also going to be using hard difficulty computers from now on, as there's an achievement for each board for winning against hard difficulty computers with a 2-star lead. So I figured we try to go for that as well, but our main goal is just to finish the game on each board for now. On this board, the main gimmick is that it's divided into several small islands, and to get to them we have to hop in these cannons which will launch us to a random space on an adjacent island. And I hope you're able to hear the sounds of my air quotes because we figured out a way to be absolutely toxic on this board. Because it's not exactly a random space that you get sent to, it's just the target is moving so fast and in a random pattern, so realistically you're not going to be able to time it. Unless you are big-brained and use the pause button. By pausing the game, we can see what space we'll land on, and we can keep pausing until we get to a space that we want. Then if we time it perfectly and unpause the game and then immediately hit the A button before the target moves, then we can essentially land anywhere we want. Like in front of this Boo, who lets us steal not only coins, but if we have 50 coins to spare, we can steal stars. And wouldn't you know it, I just happen to have 70 coins burning a hole in my pocket. So yes, I will steal a star. Thank you very much. If this was an actual human player that I did this to, like at a LAN party or something, I would probably get followed into the parking lot and get jumped, and I would deserve it. This is so toxic. But hey, I'm the birthday boy, so I'm allowed to cheat. This method is incredibly busted. As long as we can roll high enough to get to a cannon, we can essentially get anywhere on the board. And it is a difficult trick. I didn't always get it right, but with some practice, I was hitting it pretty consistently. I even had a crazy turn where I pulled it off not once, not twice, but 3 times in a row to get to another star. But listen, I'm not the only one cheating. These computers definitely cheat in the minigames too. Like this one for example, it's one of those puzzles where the item goes down these pipes and it always takes the horizontal path if it crosses one, and then you gotta trace the path to get it to where you wanna go, except the camera moves like 100 miles an hour at the start, so it's impossible to do all that. But tell me why the computers get this one right every single time. And look at this game where we gotta skateboard and jump over obstacles. We're all moving the exact same speed and we all cross the finish line at the same time, so why the heck does Donkey Kong get the win here? I'm telling you, the computers cheat too, so I'm just leveling the playing field. This game was going pretty good for me, and I even had a really lucky chance time where I robbed Luigi of all of his coins, and then I had a huge play on the final turn. I only rolled a 2, but that was enough to get me to Shy Guy, who can take me to the Bowser Island, which is normally a bad thing, but on this board, Bowser acts like a cannon and sends you to a random island. And luck was on our side as he sent us to the island with a star. I just had to pull off another cannon manipulation, and again I got it, and I was able to get a last turn star, which gave me the 2-star lead that I needed. But unfortunately, thanks to the bonus stars, Wario got 2 additional stars. We still won the board thanks to the bonus star that we got, but we only had a 1-star lead. At least we still get an achievement for clearing the board though, so it wasn't too bad. I also just want to say that I love the animations at the end of these games. Do you know how Mario Party Jamboree, the newest one, ends a board? Yeah, that's it. No fanfare, no cute animations, just nothing. Meanwhile, Mario Party 1's over here ending the war between the pink and the black Bob-ombs, and I love how in every board, whoever got last place gets disrespected, like Luigi getting fired out of the cannon in the background. Like I said earlier, there's just so much more life and charm in these older Mario parties. The next board I jumped into is Yoshi's Tropical Island. I decided to go with Peach for this game, and again, we're using hard difficulty computers so we can attempt that 2-star lead achievement. This board is divided into 2 sides, and to switch sides, we have to pay a toll with these thwomps. The toll starts at 1 coin and becomes whatever the last person paid, so there's potential to screw over your opponents if you have a lot of coins to spare. The star also switches sides whenever somebody lands on the happening space, and when it switches sides, it gets replaced by a Bowser visit, which will steal 30 coins from you. And the computers will not hesitate to screw you over in this game, as you'll soon see. My strategy for this board is to stay on the right side regardless of who's over there, because the right side has a Boo, which can steal stars if we have enough coins, and unlike the star, Boo doesn't move. Of course, this strategy is dependent on you keeping your coins, which in this game is not a given. I lost so many coins thanks to landing on this Bowser space that made us play Bash and Cash, a mini game where the other 3 players get to whack you with a hammer to steal your coins.
Jump! I hit the jump! What do you mean there's a cooldown for the jump? What? Why can you not turn and jump at the same time?
Yeah, that game was not going good for me. I lost 25 coins to that, but I at least got a few of them back from the next minigame where we have to escape this piranha plant being controlled by the other players. I'm convinced it is impossible to lose this minigame if you're the solo player, and you not only get 15 coins for winning, but each opponent also loses 5 coins, so it's a really good game to get if you're on the solo team. Despite that easy win, I still had to pass Bowser on my next turn, so I was not able to use Boo on my first lap. And since this is only a 20 turn game, I won't get that many passes at Boo. This strategy probably works better on a longer game, to be honest. I mean, it took us 10 turns just to get here once. Things were looking good on the second lap though. The star got switched back to the right side and I had 90 coins at the end of my turn, so enough to buy a star and steal one with Boo. But remember when I said computers won't hesitate to screw you over? Well, here's a great example as Wario purposefully switches to my side of the board just to flip the star to the other side, which screws him over just as much as it screwed me.
Why would you do that? You're literally screwing over both of us. You're on this side, you idiot. For what purpose could that possibly benefit you? This whole game, every time they have a choice, they always go to the star side. They will avoid going on a path if it means they're on Bowser's path. So why would he do that? Why? Why would he do it? Yeah, enjoy your Bowser space. And he flips it back! Wario, what are you doing? You did this just to get Bowser and you're gonna flip it back the second you're done. He gains nothing. He's just he's just freaking trolling. He's sabotaging. This guy is such an ass.
With only 5 turns to go, I was finally able to get on the board and steal a star from Wario, which now that I think about it, I should have stolen from Donkey Kong since he's in first place. But I was just so mad at Wario for screwing me over. And Donkey Kong got extra coins from not 1, but 2 chance time spaces, so that secures the coin bonus star for him. I did have 1 chance to turn things around though. I was able to buy another star, and if I could get enough coins for a Boo steal, that would really turn things in my favor. And I did get a 1-player minigame, and some of these games you can get like 30 coins from. That could have been really good for us, but the minigame I got was Limbo Dance, an easy game where we have to limbo under all the bars, but we only get 10 coins for it. So I was not able to get another star steal, but what was worse is I didn't realize Donkey Kong was right behind me, and he stole my star on the very last turn. So now, not only aren't we getting that 2-star lead achievement, but we might not even get the win at all. It's all gonna come down to bonus stars, and I did get the minigame star, but Donkey Kong got the coin star and the other computers won the happening star. So we did not end up winning this game, but I at least avoided an embarrassing 4th place finish by a single coin. So Yoshi is the one who gets gobbled up by the giant fish. And of course we got an achievement for finishing this board for the first time. Now that I have some coins to spend, I decided to buy the Lucky Box, which gets us 10% more coins after each game. I could of course have gotten the Casino Box instead, which lets you gamble and then you either get double or half the coins after each game, but I figured I'd go with the more consistent one first. Now that we're broke, I headed back to start another party. This time we're on Donkey Kong's Jungle Adventure, playing as Luigi. And once again, we have the computer set to the hardest difficulty to try for the 2-star lead achievement. This board is pretty simple. It has these thwomps which block paths and you can pay them coins to pass, or you can go the other way for free. And when you go the other way, the thwomps will switch sides to block the path that you took. I had a pretty decent start, but unfortunately by the time I got to the star, it was behind this thwomp, and if I were to pay to pass him, I would not be able to afford it, so I had to pass it up. But there's 2 Boos on this board, so I figured I'd build up my coins and try to steal a star from whoever ends up buying it. Wario landed on a Bowser space just before the star, but that worked out for us as the minigame was Bowser's Balloon Burst. The goal is to be the first person to pump up your balloon until it pops, and the trick is to do full pumps as fast as possible. If you're too fast, you're only going to do short pumps, so you have to figure out the rhythm to get the full pumps as fast as possible. I was pretty good at this game, and we even picked up an achievement for popping our balloon in less than 20 seconds. Wario and Peach ended up getting a star, but the next one landed in front of me, so I was able to get on the board on turn 9. And then I was able to steal a star on turn 10, so a pretty good 2 turns. But Wario did end up stealing his star back. But honestly, that's nothing compared to the absolute most insane turn I was about to have just a few turns after this. And before I explain, I just want to remind you guys that I play retro achievements on hardcore mode, which means I cannot use save states, and I streamed this gameplay live on Twitch, so anyone who was there can confirm this was pure, genuine 100% luck. No save states, no resetting the game. I only say this because if I was watching the turn I'm about to have, I would be calling hacks. It started with the minigame Castaways. This game has us fishing for coins and is honestly one of the best minigames for getting lots of coins. We earned 40 coins from that single minigame, which not only gets us an achievement, but it set me up for the crazy turn I was about to have. I rolled a 9 and then paid 2 different thwomps so I can get to a star. Then the star moves and it's not too far ahead of me. I then landed on the mushroom space and won the coin flip, so I get an extra roll. Then I roll an 8, which is enough to get to that second star. I do need just one more coin to afford it, but it just so happens we're passing a Boo, so I can steal coins from Wario. And I somehow got 18 coins from him, so that's some good payback for the last board. Now you might think, wow, that's a crazy turn, but wait, it's not over, because in that same turn, Peach lands on Chance Time, which results in Yoshi giving me all of his coins. So that's a 40 coin minigame, 2 stars, an 18 coin Boo steal, and then another 29 coins from Yoshi, all in a single turn. And we kept going even after this. I managed to get enough coins to steal a star from Wario just 2 turns after all this. And you know he's mad because he stole my last 3 coins despite the other players having way more to steal from. But just as I was getting comfortable with my 4 stars, Yoshi lands on a Chance Time, and I was begging the Mario Party gods, please don't take my stars, please don't take my stars, please don't take my stars, please don't take my No! Shut the f up, no way! Shut the hell up! There is no way on the last like 3 goddamn turns we're switching stars! I am gonna actually seriously crash out so hard. What the hell? I hate this game so much! I'm so done. I'm so done. I can't. I can't get this mastery. I can't play Mario Party. This is insane. This is so... I'm so glad he's the one for Bash and Cash. I'm about to beat the crap out of him. On the last turn though, I did have a small chance to take it back. I rolled a 9 and had to choose a direction. I could have gone left and landed on a happening space, which might get me the bonus star, but if I pay the thwomp, I can get to a Chance Time. And I sat on that Chance Time for a long time trying to figure out the timing. Because believe it or not, it's not random. You can time it, at least for the first block while they're still spinning slow. If I slow down the footage, you can see the dice does go in a consistent pattern, so I was keeping my eye out for the face before the star swap, and that's what I used to time it. And I actually pulled it off and got the star swaps, but each time you hit a block, they spin faster. The second block can still be timed if you're really good, but it doesn't help that both Yoshi and Luigi's symbol are green, so I accidentally timed Yoshi instead. The third block is moving way too fast. I don't think anybody can time that. So unfortunately, I didn't end up making the epic comeback that would have been perfect for the video, but I at least screwed over Wario. I actually did cost myself the game there too, because Yoshi was able to buy another star on the next turn, giving him 4 stars in total. I did get the minigame star and the happening star, but Yoshi was still ahead by 1 star, so sadly, once again, we did not get the 2-star lead achievement, but we still do get one for finishing the board. But that game took everything out of me. I was a broken man after getting screwed that hard, so I decided to head back to solo mode and unwind for a bit. I picked up an achievement for getting 99 points in Crazy Cutters, which requires us to cut out the shape perfectly. And I wasn't even trying to go for a perfect score this time, which honestly is probably the trick to a lot of these, just don't overthink it. In the next game, we actually got our first loss in Buried Treasure, where the goal is to dig and try to be the first to get to a treasure chest. But to be fair, the treasure chest spawned right near the opponent, so that was just a little bit of bad luck. Teetering Towers is a pretty simple and straightforward game, just jump on the falling platforms and try to pick up some coins along the way. Not much to it, but clearing this one gets us an achievement for making it to World 4. Our next game was Tug of War, and fun fact about this minigame, Nintendo actually got complaints about minigames like this, because the objective is to rotate the control stick as fast as you can. And the method people naturally use is to use the palm of their hand to rotate the control stick. But the joysticks on the Nintendo 64 controller were not made of a soft rubber like we're used to today, they were a very hard plastic. So people were actually doing it so hard that they were getting blisters and friction burns from doing it too much. In fact, 90 complaints were made to the New York Attorney General's office, and Nintendo had to agree to a settlement where they would mail out gloves to any affected players, which according to Wikipedia costed them up to $80 million. I tried to research online to see if I could find out what the gloves looked like, and according to a few Reddit threads I found, these were the gloves. I was hoping it would be something cool and Nintendo branded, but now that I think about it, it was probably smart that Nintendo didn't brand these. They probably don't want people remembering this whole ordeal. So yeah, next time you're playing a remastered Mario Party and you see the warning they give before the minigames, now you know why. Not that you'd be able to palm these tiny little Joy-Con nubs, but I guess Nintendo isn't taking any chances. If only they could make a button mashing glove or something. Man, I feel old because my thumbs are on fire with some of these button mashing minigames. And I could use a turbo since we're using an emulator, and that actually is allowed on hardcore mode for retro achievements, but I don't know, I feel like that kind of defeats the spirit. And the only spirits I'm defeating are these boos for another progression achievement for reaching World 6. One of my favorite minigames, which is also a big fan favorite, is Hot Rope Jump. And in solo mode, we have to get to a score of 40 to progress to the next world. This is such a simple game, just jump over the fire rope, you can't even move, just one single button is all you need for this minigame. But that's what makes it such a good one. And we had to lock in because clearing this minigame is what gets us our next progression achievement for getting to World 7. I lost a few lives to Pipe Maze, this one is just really hard. I even thought about cheesing it with some pause buffering, but you can't pause the game until the camera is done panning up. So the only way that I could cheat this game is to clip it and then watch it back in slow motion, but again, I think that defeats the spirit of the game. I mean, I guess pause buffering for the cannons also defeats the spirit too, I guess, but at least that's something like in-game that you're abusing, so it's kind of fair game? I don't know, there's no real rules to this here. I did end up getting really lucky in getting a run where I had an easy path, so I was able to get a win legitimately after a few tries. We also found our game that we're going to come back to if we ever need coins. Whack-A-Plant is such a good money farm. All you have to do is bounce on the Piranha Plant's heads and each one gets us a coin. It's pretty much a guaranteed 30 coins each play, and there's even an achievement for getting a perfect score of 36. The last game in this world ate up a lot of our lives too, as I could not figure out the timing here. We had to conduct the band and point our wand in the right direction, and I felt like I was doing that, but we still kept losing. Our only indication if we're doing good or not is the audience who throw things at us if we miss a note. But I can't pay attention to that and the game at the same time. So I didn't even know how good I was doing until the end. I eventually did get it. I think I was going too early on my failed attempts. You had to switch directions right at the last second. Once I figured it out, we beat the game and got the achievement for clearing World 7. Facelift is another fun minigame that they actually took from the title screen of Mario 64. This time we get to play with Bowser's face. There's an achievement for getting a score of 99 points, which requires almost perfect accuracy. This one is a little bit luck dependent though, as some faces are a lot easier to replicate than others. So it took a few tries, but eventually I was able to get the achievement. The last level of the world was Cash and Bash, which gives me an opportunity to redeem myself after my last terrible performance on this minigame. And I definitely redeemed myself as they did not get a single coin off me. So I'm definitely seeing some improvement in these minigames. We get the achievement for reaching World 9, and I decided to take a break here and get back to some board games. So let's try out Luigi's Engine Room, and again we're using hard computers hoping to get that 2-star lead achievement. And from this point in the video onward, I'll only be playing as Mario, just so you guys know who I am at all times. This board's gimmick is that it's full of these blue and red gates which alternate between each turn, blocking and opening up different paths. There's also these machines which you can walk past and pay 20 coins to manually change the gates to either open up a path that you need or to sabotage an opponent. Bowser also makes an appearance on this board where he has an illegal money-making machine which will give you one whole coin at the cost of 20 coins. So you'll lose 19 coins basically if you pass him. Wario ended up getting the first star of the game, but then it got stolen by Yoshi. And after I bought my own star, I also passed Boo, so I stole that star. Just for Peach to go and steal it from me on her turn. That one star has now made its way into the hands of every player on the board. Things were looking pretty good for me. I managed to get lucky and get myself onto a path of another star and got it on the 15th turn. And I was able to make a boo play and manage to steal that star back from Peach, so now I was the only player with stars, but I made a mistake that costed me the 2-star lead. On the second to last turn, I passed one of the machines that let you switch the gates, and I was considering my options. Wario is near the star, and on his next turn that blue gate would open, so I could pay to switch the gates now, which would prevent him from getting that star. And as of now, I still have the only 3 stars in play, so really now that I'm looking at the footage and writing this script, that was the obvious correct choice. But for some reason, I was convinced that I had a shot at getting the star first, so I decided to not switch the gates so I can get on that side. Even if I missed the star, I could get to a boo before the game was over, so it wasn't the worst decision ever, but it ultimately ended up backfiring because not only did Wario get the star first, but then Peach stole one of my stars back, and I of course rolled a 1 on the last turn, so no boo play for me. I did still win the game, but after bonus stars, Wario was only behind by 1 star, so yet again we missed the 2-star lead achievement. But we still do pick up 1 achievement for finishing the board, but it's becoming clear that we're going to have to try a little bit harder to get the 2-star leads. I decided to take a break from hard difficulty computers and go for 2 achievements on a board we already played, bringing home the bonuses for winning all 3 bonus stars at the end of the game, and the widest wallet for getting the coin star with at least 200 coins. And the board I chose for this was Wario's Battle Canyon, as the pause buffering trick makes it so I can land on more happening spaces than everybody else. And against easy difficulty computers, I was winning pretty much every minigame, so the coin and minigame star were basically free. I didn't even have to buy any stars on the board, since my goal isn't to win the game, but just to get all the bonus stars and then have at least 200 coins. So since these are easy computers and I wasn't even buying stars since I'm not trying to win, there's not much to it. I mean, these computers can't even win their solo minigames on this difficulty, so they weren't at all a challenge. The coin bonus star checks what player has the most coins at any one time throughout the game. So once we hit 200 coins, we don't even have to keep them, though we do need the coins for the item shop, so I didn't stop even after getting to 200. I stayed greedy all the way to the very last minigame, and at the end of the game, I did in fact get all 3 bonus stars, which gets us those 2 achievements. I even ended up winning the game with just the 3 bonus stars alone. With some coins in the bank, I decided to go back and get a few items. Each item purchase is its own separate achievement, and I picked up a plus block and a slow block. And this is where things get weird because I've never actually used items in this game when I played it as a kid. I think I was too dumb to know how they worked, because in all the other Mario parties, items are a one-time use, and you buy them from an item shop on the board itself. But in the first game, you buy the items from this shop, and then you have to go to the bank to actually activate them. The thing is though, you don't actually get to use these items on your own, they just have a chance at activating randomly for you or any other player. The plus block gives you coins equal to your dice roll, and the slow block makes it so you only roll low numbers. And that actually can be a good thing in some instances, but since you can't predict or control when these items get used, it just adds another layer of chance rather than strategy. The next board I decided to do was Mario's Rainbow Castle. This is the simplest board in the game and probably the most fair board as well. Like if this game had a competitive scene, this would be the final destination or battlefield of Mario Party. Toad sits at the top of the map in a fixed position, so you always know where the star is, but each time somebody buys a star, he swaps with Bowser, and if you get to this space when Bowser's here, you lose a whopping 40 coins. The board's pretty small too, with just one looping path and a few forks, so you can take a longer route if you're trying to avoid Bowser, or if you want to steal something with Boo like I did. Like for example here, I was near the tower, but I didn't want to get there too quick because I knew Luigi would get there first, but I saw Donkey Kong not far behind, so I took the longer path which led to a mushroom space. I was hoping this time I would actually lose the coin flip, so I skip a turn and hopefully Donkey Kong would get to Bowser first instead before I did. Of course, this is Mario Party. All the strategy in the world won't save you if you have bad luck. And Yoshi was having the worst luck because this poor guy got Bowsered literally every single time. The last turn was especially embarrassing because everybody else got a star and then landed on the happening space right after, which switches Bowser and Toad. But right before Yoshi got his chance, Donkey Kong landed on a second happening space and flipped Bowser back. Literally every player gave Yoshi a chance to get a star by landing on the same space, and he still got Bowsered at the very end. We got the achievement for finishing the board, but we did not get our 2-star lead. We didn't even win the game actually, so yeah, getting those achievements will probably require some more planning. But now that we've played every board at least once, we can buy another board from the shop for the low price of 980 coins. So we gotta grind some coins, and I wanted to find a way to do that and still be taking a shot at the 2-star lead achievements for each board. And my first thought was to simply do a longer game. And if I can go on a little bit of a side tangent here, 50 turn games are where it's at. I will die on this hill. So many people complain that Mario Party takes too long, and I think that's what prompted them to make it so games are a lot quicker now. But no, you guys are just doing it wrong. 50 turn games is where it's at. You gotta give the pot time to boil, and so much more happens during longer games. I mean, against computers, not so much, but if you have a group of friends and you're playing some Mario Party, put it on 50 turns, alright? You got nowhere to be if you're playing Mario Party in 2025. Since I'm using an emulator, I can actually fast forward the game to cut down some time. Even some of the mini games are playable in a fast forwarded state, though not all of them are.
I'm gonna try Platform Peril. Oh, nope.
This game ended up taking a little over an hour to do with fast forwarding, which is about how long a 20 turn game normally takes. And with 50 turns, we have time to get ourselves a nice lead. But first I had to include this huge fail by Yoshi, who was near a boo and only needed 9 coins to steal a star, and the next minigame was Castaways, a coin minigame which, like I said, is one of the best for earning coins. Yet somehow Yoshi completely fumbles this, and only manages to get 4 coins, and misses the chance to steal a star. Yoshi's just gotta be the worst computer at this point. In fact, later in the game when he did have enough coins to steal a star, for some reason he decided to take coins instead. I have no idea why. Maybe he was in close proximity to the star on the board or something, and the AI doesn't want to spend coins in that case. I don't know, but I was happy to keep my stars. I did notice something a little fishy though when I had a big lead. The computer players landed on chance time way more frequently than usual, it seemed, and every time they did, they always got trading stars with me and nobody else. This happened, I kid you not, 7 times, and you bet your ass I reset the game each time because I am not giving up 7 stars. But it just kept happening so many times that there's no way it was a coincidence. Chance time is timeable like I said earlier, so maybe it's a case of the computers just being good at it, or maybe if you get a really far lead, they're programmed to get chance time more often. I'm not 100% sure about this. I tried to look around online and even asked on Reddit, but nobody had an answer. But whatever the reason is, it's clear 50 turn games are not the way to go for this achievement. And honestly, I messed this up anyway because the achievements do say they need to be gotten in a single session, so saving and quitting to avoid chance time isn't even an option. Which sucks because I did end up winning by over 2 stars in this game, but since I reset a bunch of times, we did not get the achievement. I took another break from the boards and headed back to finish up solo mode. I actually had to backtrack a bit because I realized I forgot about World 5 since the path forks and I went the other way. So after getting blasted by cannons and drowning under mushroom platforms, I made my way to the last minigame where I have to walk across a tightrope dodging cannonballs. And after making it to the end, we clear World 5 and get the achievement. All we have to do now is clear World 9, and the last minigame was one of my favorite ones, Platform Peril. I really tend to like the platformer minigames in Mario parties. Honestly, I wish there was more of them, though it does take some getting used to in the original version because I feel like there's a bit of a delay when you first start running to when you reach your full speed. But once we're up and running, we make it to the finish line and get World 9's achievement. But we're not done yet with Minigame Island. Now we have one final showdown against Toad himself in Slot Car Derby. And this was so cool that Toad is actually competing with us. Toad isn't a playable character in this game, and he wouldn't be until Mario Party 5, so it's cool to see him join the party here. And this game is actually pretty difficult too. It's a slot car race, and you control your speed with the analog stick, and you have to slow down when taking turns or you'll spin out. It's a very simple concept, but it requires extreme precision to get the best times. And Toad is really fast, finishing in about 30 seconds. But we're gonna have to get good at this because not only do we need to beat him to finish single player mode, but we have 2 minigame achievements tied to Slot Car Derby scores. I looked up some tips online and learned that the direction you input the stick makes no difference. It's simply how far you're tilting the stick that determines your speed. And a technique that I see a lot of people suggesting is as soon as your tires start to smoke, indicating you're about to spin out, you should flick the thumbstick to the opposite side, so that it returns to the neutral position before going back to full speed. And by repeating that with the right rhythm, you can take the turns quickly and get a good enough time to win. Of course, even with that method, it's still pretty hard to get it down, but with a little practice, I was able to get a good enough run to beat Toad mode and get the achievement for finishing Minigame Island, and I'll have plenty of opportunities to practice Slot Car Derby in our upcoming board game grinds. But we do get an in-game prize as well for beating this mode. It's a brand new solo minigame, Bumper Ball Maze. You can play this in the minigame house, and I've never seen this mode before, so it was a really cool surprise. It uses the same bumper ball from another minigame, but this time you have to balance and navigate through a maze. We unlock 2 variants of this maze, one for finishing solo mode and one for clearing all the minigames in it. And then once we completed both of those, we unlocked a 3rd maze as well. Surprisingly, there's no retro achievements tied to these modes, but I of course played them just for fun. I can't believe all this time I never knew these existed. With Minigame Island done, we gotta get our board game grind started. I could just set computers to easy mode to maximize coins and stars, but I decided to multitask and keep attempting the 2-star lead achievements. This time though, I went full out, min-max, full try-hard, no grass touching, no shower taking, absolute just sweatlord gamer mode. I kept a notebook as I played and I was taking notes, keeping track of how many happening spaces everyone lands on, who has the most coins, who's winning all the minigames. That way I can keep track of who's getting the bonus stars and adjust my strategies accordingly. I also had an image of the board along with all the possible star locations and was keeping track of those, as stars don't go to the same location twice until all possible locations have been used at least once. So I also factored all that into my decisions, and the absolute most sweatlord thing I did was picking specific computer opponents, because during chance time it's easier to see the order of characters if they're different colors. And it makes timing those chance times easier, which plays a big role into getting these achievements. I was absolutely locked in and try-harding to get these achievements. The easiest board to get the 2-star lead was Wario's Battlegrounds. Being able to manipulate where we land from the cannons really stacks the deck in our favor, and I got good enough that I was doing it with like a 90% success rate. This allowed me to get all 3 bonus stars, and I realized that's important too, because trying to hold a lead the entire game just makes us a target for computers to hit us with boos and chance times. There were actually some times where I purposefully didn't go for a star and instead chose to go for a happening space just to help ensure that I get that bonus star at the end of the game. Or if I knew that another computer was going to get a bonus star, I would try to make sure I pick them as my target for boo. With all these tactics and my increased proficiency at manipulating the cannons, we had a very nice lead on the last turn. But of course things can go wrong, and I was on the edge of my seat praying to the Mario Party gods that nothing would screw us up.
You know what? I want Peach actually. Hey, hold on. I want Peach to swap coins with somebody. This could work out. This could work out. There we go. Nice. And I can't time this last one, so with me. That's fine. I have nothing, right? I have no coins? This works. This only benefits me? I have 24. Perfect. Okay. Woo! All right, it worked out. It worked out. Oh my god. I'm like literally shaking right now. Just nobody screwed this up for me, please.
Thankfully, we pulled off that chance time, and we ended the game with not just a 2-star lead, but a 7-star lead. Now that should be an achievement. But that's just one board down. We have to do a 2-star lead on every other board in the game, and none of the other boards have these cannons to abuse. When attempting Mario's Rainbow Road, we got an incredibly lucky break as we're about to get Bowsered, but Luigi steps up and rolls a 10 and takes the bullet for us instead, which was amazing, but that's not the weirdest thing that happened. We ended up winning this game, but only by a few coins. We didn't have the 2-star lead. But for some reason the achievement unlocked for us, and this ended up happening again on Donkey Kong's Jungle Adventure. I thought maybe I misread the achievement requirements, but looking at the comments, it was confirmed that these achievements are just bugged. The thing is, the developer of these achievements has been inactive on the site for a few years, so they're probably not getting fixed anytime soon. But don't worry, I did go back and get the 2-star lead on each of these boards, just so I could say that I actually did it. I got the craziest good start on Donkey Kong's Jungle board too. After the first turn, the minigame was Coin Shower Flower, a great minigame if you're the solo player because you get first dibs on all the falling coins, and the other 3 players get to fight for your table scraps that fall into the water. We got 36 coins from that game alone, and thanks to some good rolls, we got to a boo by the 3rd turn and stole half of Luigi's coins. Then on turn 4, I get Whack-A-Plant as a solo minigame, so that's another 33 coins. And by turn 6, I made it to the first star with 124 coins. Now you would think I would win this game surely, but nope, by the end of it, I got all my stars stolen. I mean, I did still win the game technically, but just barely thanks to bonus stars. On the opposite end of that spectrum, this game on Yoshi's Tropical Island was going horribly at the start. I tried staying on the right side for Boo like last time, but I just kept getting screwed by everybody switching the star with Bowser. But of course, I only get to switch them after it's too late for me to reap the benefits. I didn't get a single Boo steal because I just couldn't keep my coins. It wasn't until turn 16 that I got my first star, and it was all thanks to a huge gamble. I could have went down here and hit the happening space to get the star back to my side, or I can go left, land on a mushroom space, possibly win the coin flip for another roll, and then if I roll high enough, I could get the star. If I wasn't keeping track of who landed on the happening spaces, I probably would have gone for that instead, but since I knew I was most likely getting that bonus star, I took the gamble and it paid off. And with only 3 turns left, I managed to pull off another miracle and get the coin star thanks to getting Castaway as one of our minigames, which as I said earlier, is a great minigame for getting coins. We won 40 coins off this one game, and then again we get to play Whack-A-Plan. So that got me to 101 coins in total, which was enough for the coin star. And thanks to that gamble that paid off and the 3 bonus stars that we ended up winning, we had exactly a 2-star lead. So on one hand, we had a game where I had an incredible start, but somehow failed the achievement, and now we had a game with a horrible start, but we turned it around in the last few turns and succeeded. If that doesn't explain just the kind of game that Mario Party is, I don't know what does. We even doubled our money at the end thanks to the casino box, which I bought before this game. The casino box gives us a roulette wheel at the end of the game and has 3 outcomes. Either it doubles our coins, halves them, or it does nothing. If you do the math, that actually comes out to a 1.17 multiplier on average. And the lucky box only gives us a 1.10 multiplier, so in the long run, the casino box actually ends up being a better option. That is of course assuming it is a fair 1 in 3 chance. The game might be doing some shady stuff behind the scenes, but I had pretty good luck with the casino box. The achievement on Peach's birthday cake board was a little bit trickier as there's so much more happening spaces and no optional paths, so it's completely up to luck who gets that bonus star. If you have 30 coins and land on a happening space, you can buy a strawberry, which is actually just a piranha plant, and if an opponent lands on this space, you'll get one of their stars. The thing is, with 20 turn games, these really aren't worth it. If you know you have the coin star already, it's worth it in the late game, but early on, I skipped it. Nothing too crazy happened during this game, we just got lucky enough to not get sent to Bowser every time like last time. I did get a chance time on the very last turn, and you can see what I mean. Donkey Kong and Mario's icon kind of blend together when they're going fast, making it harder to time it. I still did end up getting it, but this was the game that I decided I have to pick more visible opponents. That's one more achievement down, and we have just 1 to go, which was the hardest board so far. Luigi's Engine Room took like 4 or 5 tries before finally getting that 2-star lead achievement. The board is just really unpredictable, and because all the paths connect back to Boo, star steals were a huge issue. There is an item in the shop that can turn Boos off that we can unlock later, and in hindsight, waiting until we had that might have made things a little bit easier. I did get a pretty lucky break though, and I don't know why or how, but for some reason Peach was passing a Boo with more than enough coins to steal a star, but for some reason she went for coins instead. This is the second time this has happened, and I have no idea why it does. She had plenty of coins and was nowhere near a star on the board, so it's not like she was saving up for one. Maybe she was trying to make a truce, but we all know that's not a thing in Mario Party. Who has the most coins here? Peach. Peach, I'm sorry, I know you just kind of spared me there, but like, that was kind of dumb of you, so I am going to be grabbing you. You did kind of spare my game there, but I'm ruthless, what can I say? All's fair in Mario Party. This game I ended up getting really lucky towards the end. Luigi had an opportunity to steal my star on the last turn, but the slow dice item activated at the perfect time, the one and only time an item in this entire experience actually came in handy. Though to be honest, I don't think it would have mattered as I ended up winning the game with a 4-star lead to get the achievement. And now that we played a bunch of board games, we have enough coins to buy the new map, Bowser's Magma Mountain. I've never played on this board in my life. As a kid, I never actually saved up enough coins to buy it, so it was really fun finally getting to experience it. The board is covered with these shortcuts, and if you have 10 coins to spare, you can roll the dice, and if you succeed, you'll take the shortcut. Otherwise, you just waste your coins and have to go the long way. Happening spaces cause the volcano at the center to erupt, and it transforms all the blue spaces into red spaces for a few turns. And if you're unfortunate enough to pass by Bowser, he'll steal coins or possibly stars from you. Overall, it's a pretty neat board, and I don't know if we got lucky or maybe I'm just getting really good at this game, but we ended up getting that 2-star lead achievement on our very first attempt on this board. I mean, I definitely am getting better at the game. I'm even at a point where I'm deliberately trying to get on chance times because I can consistently time them to steal people's stars. I'm even getting better at the minigames. I was able to pick up a slot car derby achievement for getting a time under 22 seconds. You know, on second thought, yeah, I'm actually seeing a big improvement here. I'm not surprised we got the win with a 3-star lead. And of course, we also get the achievement for just finishing the board as well, so that's a nice 2-for-1 special on retro achievements. Next up, we need 100 stars to unlock the last board. Since we're not going for achievements, we can set the computers to easy, and we of course hop back on Wario's Battleground as the cannon manipulation lets us rack up way more stars than the other boards. But we actually have another trick up our sleeve for this one. We couldn't do it before since we were going for achievements, but now that we're not, we can do a pretty sneaky move to speed up the star farming. At the end of the game on the final turn, before we make our move, we can go into the game settings and change all the computer players to human players. And this does a few things. For starters, it makes the last minigame a lot easier.
I have a feeling I'm gonna win this game. That was easy.
But more importantly, since the game thinks I all of a sudden got 3 human friends to join in, we now get to bank every coin and star from all 4 players. So this obviously speeds up how fast we're earning stars and coins. In fact, I didn't even realize it at first until somebody in Twitch chat suggested it, but we can even set all the players to computers and then the game will literally just play itself. As long as we remember to tag back in before the game's over, we still get credit for all the stars and coins they earn. Granted, computers aren't going to be as effective as human players, but this is a good trick if you have to take a bathroom break but you want to keep the game going. And since we're now essentially sharing stars and coins, we don't actually have to worry about winning or losing. Nothing really matters, everything is shared in the end. It was honestly such a weird feeling. I did a 50-turn game and just let whatever happens happen. Lose all my stars? Go ahead, take them, they're all going to end up in the same bank. Honestly, the most liberating and stress-free Mario Party I ever played. After that game, we got our 100 stars and wait a minute, what? The bank got robbed? Bowser took all our stars! I mean, I knew we were going to unlock a new board at 100 stars, but I didn't realize it was like a whole story arc. We can't even pick another stage anymore. Bowser stole all the stages. So we have to head to the final board of the game. This board is really unique too. Instead of toads, there are baby Bowsers scattered all over the board, but we can't simply just buy a star from them. We have to beat them in a dice rolling minigame first. And if you lose that dice roll, not only did you waste 20 coins and get no star, but you actually lose a star if you already have one. Bowser's also on the board and he'll also steal stars from you if you're unlucky enough to pass him. And just getting around the board is more difficult because it's full of these warp paths that send you to somewhere else on the map. You can learn which warps go where by watching your opponents and keeping track of them, but Bowser will occasionally reshuffle the warp paths, making you have to learn them all over again. Because of the abundance of star spaces, stars end up getting bought and stolen much more frequently, which makes strategizing more difficult, but I managed to get into a really solid position. After stealing a star with Boo, I ended up with 5 stars on the very last turn. Luigi and Wario each have 2, and Peach has 1. And I was keeping track of the bonus stars, and I knew I was tied for the happening star with Peach, and Luigi had the coin star. So I'm in a really great position. There's no way Wario somehow ruins everything. Unless he rolls a 10, wins 2 dice roll minigames to buy 2 stars, then takes a warp pad and just so happens to end up where he landed on a happening space so that he also gets a bonus star. But do you know what the worst part of all this was? I still had a chance. Alls I needed was the minigame bonus star. You know, that bonus star that I always win? Like, I'm being serious, I did not lose the minigame star once throughout this entire challenge. I just kind of assumed it was a given at this point. Unfortunately though, winning the most minigames isn't enough to get this star, since it checks to see who won the most coins in minigames, not who won the most minigames themselves. And some games are better than others, like the last minigame where the solo player gets way more coins than anybody else. And you can also lose coins in minigames, and that counts against you too in this game. So unfortunately, every once in a while, a computer will occasionally get the minigame star even if you win most of the minigames. And for the first time in the entire run, that happened here, and it cost me my 2-star lead. That's what the community calls a Mario Party moment. I did end up getting the 2-star lead on the next game though. I was getting very lucky with the dice rolling games, and honestly it would have been smart to just get my lead and stop gambling, but I'm a greedy little beast who just cannot resist the urge to gamble.
No, I can't keep taking the gamble, man. Or can I? Ah! Do it! Oh, god damn it! Let it ride! I literally can't resist the urge!
I ended up getting 6 stars at one point. Even after losing one of them to Wario, I was still able to end up with a 2-star lead at the end, and that's our last board game achievement. So now we're in the home stretch for these achievements. We have a few minigame achievements to get, so I headed back to Minigame Island since I didn't have enough coins to buy them all. First, we needed to get 20 coins on the jackpot minigame by getting 3 hat symbols, and to make the timing easier, we used the same pause buffering technique we do on Wario's Battlefield. There's a delay from when you jump to when you actually hit the block, so you're aiming for the symbol that's 2 below the hat. With pause buffering, this becomes super easy, and we got the achievement in just a few tries. Next, we have to finish Bobsled Run in under 1 minute. I saw in the comments of this achievement that many people were accomplishing this by setting up the emulator so you have a second controller duplicating the inputs of yours, and then you can control both players at the same time. Which is probably the easiest way to do it since the game starts with a button mashing section to push the sled forward, but I was able to do it with a regular computer. The trick is to hold forward the entire time, take the first few turns as tight as you can to minimize distance traveled, and for the final turn you can hug the wall rather than trying to turn away from it. It's a pretty difficult achievement, the timing is very tight, but I was able to get it in a few tries. And finally we have another slot car derby achievement, this time for the second course, which is a bit more complicated with more turns, but the flicking strat really comes in clutch here. It's difficult to explain, you just have to kind of get a feel for the speed at which you have to flick the stick back and forth on the turns. But once we got the hang of it, we picked up the achievement, and that was our final minigame achievement left. Well, kind of. There's actually one more minigame we haven't tried yet, and to play it, we have to purchase the Mecha Fly guy from the shop. Then we can use him in the minigame house, and we have an achievement for getting a score of 50, which is very difficult. The goal of this game is to spin the control stick as fast as you can in 10 seconds. So we basically have to rotate the control stick 5 times per second. I'm not gonna lie, this achievement is tough. In my opinion, a little too tough, especially considering that it's physically painful palming the thumbstick and doing it so vigorously to be fast enough. My only advice for this is to really focus on doing complete rotations. If you're going too fast, you might accidentally tilt the stick in another direction before completing a circle, and that means you get less rotations. I also held the controller in my lap and almost like smushed it down against me as I was doing rotations to keep it in place so it's not sliding around under my hands. It was very tough, and I pretty much had to friction burn a hole through my hand, but after about 20 minutes of attempts, I locked in and got a score of 57 and got the achievement.
Did I get it? I saw 50! I saw 50! Did I get it? I saw 50! Did I get it? Did I get the run? Can I give my palms a break, please? Yes! Ow! Oh, I clapped! Ow! I clapped and it hurts!
And that was our last challenge of the run. Our only achievements left now are for purchasing the rest of the items in the shop and buying all the minigames. So now we just have to grind out coins. We need about 14,000 coins in total to afford everything in the game, and the best way I found to farm coins is to do the same trick we did to farm stars, but this time we're going to go back to Minigame Stadium. It works the same way, play up to the last turn, then switch all the computers to humans so we get everybody's coins added to our bank. Since coins are shared, it doesn't even matter who wins and loses, so you can set all the players to computers if you want, and just make sure to switch back before the game's over. I grinded this mode for a good hour or so, and after I was done, I had a nice big pile of coins and was ready to do a shopping spree. So I bought up everything from the item shop, and then bought all the minigames, and that gets us our final achievements. And after the final purchase, we have officially mastered Mario Party, making this my 11th mastery on retro achievements. This set was tons of fun. I really enjoy Mario Party games, especially the older ones, and honestly I've kind of grown to appreciate the first game more now that I've played it extensively. I got to see tons of new unlockable boards and minigames that I was never aware existed. And while the game's ruthlessness was rough at the beginning, as I got better at the game, I really started to embrace the difficulty bumps. This is a game for true gamers, it is not for the faint of heart, but if you're willing to take the pain, there is a lot of fun to be had in Mario Party. As for the achievement set, I enjoyed it a lot. I don't feel there was anything too unfair or difficult. Maybe the Mecha Fly guy was, but that could just be the hole in my hand talking. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video because it took a lot of effort on this one. I had so much footage after this playthrough. And I tried to pick out some of the best moments and also add in some live reactions, so if you guys enjoyed it, do me a favor and let me know down in the comments. Likes and comments really help the videos get pushed out to more people, and I'm really proud of this video. I think it's one of my better ones, so I'm hoping it pops off and more people see it. In fact, I definitely want to do another Mario Party achievement run, so leave me a comment down below what's your favorite Mario Party, and maybe I'll do that one next. I'm also streaming a lot more on Twitch now, so make sure you follow me over on there if you want to see some live achievement hunting. And of course, you can follow me on Retro Achievements as well if you want a sneak peek at what I'm cooking up next. If you're new to the channel, I'm uploading a video just like this every week, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss more nostalgic gaming videos just like this one. That's gonna wrap up this week's video, gamers. Once again, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, keep on partying, gamers. Ow! It hurts! It burns my palm! Why is the counter not showing up?
I kind of hate this achievement. I don't know, man. I kind of hate this.
49!